Hey, welcome back. So we're heading into December now, and if you're on Social Security, this month is absolutely packed with changes that are going to affect your wallet, your payment dates, and honestly, the entire way you think about the system moving forward. And here's the thing, some of what's happening this month might actually surprise you because there's one update that could mean significantly more money for certain people, but almost nothing for others. And the difference between those two groups is bigger than most folks realize. So, yeah, stick with me through this whole thing because by the end, you're going to know exactly where you stand, what's coming, and how to navigate it all without getting caught off guard. Before we dive in, do me a quick favor, drop a comment right now, and let me know where you're watching from, just your state or city. I love seeing where everyone's tuning in from. And while you're at it, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss an update because honestly, the next few months are going to be critical for anyone relying on these benefits. And I'll be right here breaking it all down for you. And if you find this helpful, go ahead and tap that like button too. It really does help more people find this information. All right, let's get into it. December 2025 is bringing some really important shifts, and the first thing everyone wants to know is when exactly is my payment arriving? Because the dates this month are a little different from what we saw in November, and there's actually something pretty unusual happening at the very end of the month that I'm going to explain in just a moment. So if you're receiving SSI, your December payment lands right at the start of the month on Monday, December 1st. That's the standard first of the month schedule for SSI. Nothing unusual there. But here's where it gets interesting and where a lot of people start to get confused. Because January 1st falls on a federal holiday, New Year's Day, SSI recipients are actually going to receive their January 2026 payment early, and it's coming on Wednesday, December 31st. Now, when you see two payments hit your account in the same month, it can feel like a bonus or like maybe the system made a mistake or something got duplicated. But no, this is exactly how the Social Security Administration has always handled holiday conflicts. It's not a duplicate, it's not an error. You don't need to report anything or worry that something went wrong. This is just the way the schedule is designed to work. So if you're on SSI, you're going to see money on December 1st and again on December 31st, and both of those are correct. Now, if you happen to receive both Social Security and SSI, or if you started receiving Social Security benefits before May 1997, your payment date this month is Wednesday, December 3rd. For everyone else, your payment is determined by your birthday, and this is where the schedule splits into a few different groups. If your birthday falls anywhere between the 1st and the 10th of the month, your payment arrives on Wednesday, December 10th. If your birthday is between the 11th and the 20th, your payment comes on Wednesday, December 17th. And if your birthday falls between the 21st and the 31st, your payment will arrive on Wednesday, December 24th. Yes, that's Christmas Eve, so it could actually be really helpful timing for a lot of families this year, especially with holiday expenses piling up. So, just to recap the full December payment schedule, we've got December 1st, December 3rd, December 10th, December 17th, December 24th, and then December 31st for that early January SSI payment. If your benefit usually hits your account around midnight Eastern Time, that timing should stay consistent, although your specific bank can affect exactly when the funds become available. And if you're using Direct Express, your funds should load on the same day as your scheduled payment date. Now, December is also when a major change kicks in for some people, and this is where things start to get a little more complicated. SSI recipients are going to see the new 2026 cost of living adjustment, the COLA, reflected in their end of December payment, the one that arrives on December 31st. Everyone else on Social Security will see the COLA increase starting in January. So, yeah, this is the month where a lot of you are going to notice your benefits shifting, and it's important to understand what that actually means for your real world budget. Let's talk about this COLA for a second because honestly, this is where the reality doesn't quite match up with the headlines. The 2026 COLA has officially been set at 2.8%. That means the average Social Security retiree is going to see about $56 more per month. On paper, that sounds pretty decent, right? It's a little higher than last year's increase, And anytime you hear your benefits are going up, it feels like good news. But here's the part I mentioned earlier, the part that catches people completely by surprise, and the part that a lot of news outlets just aren't explaining clearly enough. Medicare Part B premiums are rising again, and unfortunately, they're rising faster than the COLA for a lot of people. In 2026, the standard Medicare Part B premium is jumping to $185 per month. That's a nearly $10 increase from last year, and it's one of the biggest single year jumps we've ever seen. Now, for someone receiving a larger Social Security check, that $56 COLA increase still leaves them with a little extra money after the premium hike. But for retirees receiving smaller checks, and we're talking about millions of people here, their entire raise is going to disappear because of this premium increase. Let me give you an example so you can see exactly what I'm talking about. Someone getting $600 per month in Social Security gets a COLA increase of around $16.80. The Medicare premium increase completely wipes that out and then some. So even though their benefit statement says they're getting an increase, they're not actually feeling any difference in their bank account. In fact, some people might even see their net payment go down slightly. The only reason this doesn't hit even harder across the board is because of something called the hold harmless rule. And this is a protection that prevents most people from having their Social Security check reduced because of Medicare premium increases. But here's the catch, this protection doesn't apply to everyone. It doesn't apply to new retirees, people who are just starting to receive benefits. It doesn't apply to higher income individuals. And it doesn't apply to people who don't have their Medicare premiums automatically deducted from their Social Security check. So not everyone is shielded from this. It's one of those years where the COLA looks good in the headlines, but when you actually sit down and look at your bank account, it doesn't feel as good in real life. And I think that's exactly why more and more people are starting to pay closer attention to how the entire Social Security system is being managed right now, because these little details matter and they add up fast. Speaking of how the system is being managed, December also marks the end of a pretty dramatic year inside the Social Security Administration itself. And honestly, if you've ever felt frustrated by how slow or outdated the system seems, this next part might actually interest you because the agency has made some genuinely big changes this year. The SSA commissioner released his year-end report recently, and it shows major improvements in technology, service delivery, and processing times. Earlier this year, the online portal was going offline almost 29 hours per week. Think about that. More than a full day every single week where people couldn't access their accounts, couldn't update their direct deposit information, couldn't request benefit verification letters, couldn't check on appeals. It was a mess. But now the portal is running 24/7 with far fewer disruptions. That's a huge shift, and millions of people depend on that portal for basic tasks, so having consistent access actually makes life easier. Call wait times have also dropped significantly, going from an average of 28 minutes down to about 15 minutes. And about 90% of calls are now being handled through self service tools or callbacks, which means fewer people sitting on hold forever. In office, wait times have improved too, with the average scheduled visitor now waiting only about 6 minutes instead of the much longer waits we were seeing before. So, despite all the challenges this year, budget constraints, staffing issues, all of that, the system is finally running a bit smoother than it has in a long time. Another really big development, and this one was a major relief for a lot of people, was the complete reversal of that controversial disability rule the SSA had been considering earlier this year. You probably remember hearing about it, or maybe you heard rumors floating around. It was the rule that would have made it harder for older workers to qualify for disability benefits by giving less weight to age as a factor in determining eligibility. Advocacy groups were absolutely terrified about this because the estimates suggested that hundreds of thousands of people over 50 could lose out on benefits they truly need. Some analysts were saying up to 750,000 people over the next decade might have been affected. These are people who have worked their entire lives. They're dealing with real physical or mental limitations. They're too young to retire, but too worn down to keep working, and this rule would have made it much harder for them to get help. But the commissioner officially confirmed the rule is not going forward. It's dead. Disability advocates called it a major win for fairness. And honestly, it probably prevented a lot of panic because the rumors alone had already caused a ton of fear in the disability community. And that fear was real. Many older workers were genuinely worried they'd be pushed into early retirement, which permanently cuts your monthly benefits and leaves you in a much worse financial position for the rest of your life. So the reversal was one of the biggest relief moments of the year, and it's genuinely good news heading into December. Now, moving forward into 2026, there's also a new tax rule that takes effect this year, and a lot of people still don't know about it, but it could actually affect your taxes when you file next spring. Congress approved a new $6,000 senior tax deduction for people over 65. This is designed to help reduce how much of your Social Security income gets taxed, and for some people, it's going to make a real difference. But it's not automatic for everyone, and here's where it gets a little complicated. The deduction begins phasing out at $75,000 for individuals and $150,000 for couples, and it disappears entirely at higher income levels. So if you're a high income senior, you're not going to benefit from this at all. But for middle income seniors, the benefit could be real, with some people potentially saving more than $1,000 per year, depending on their specific situation. It really depends on your total income, your filing status, how much of your Social Security is currently being taxed, all of those factors. And some financial planners are saying this year is a really good time to take a closer look at how withholding works on your benefits, or whether adjusting some of your income sources could help reduce your overall tax bill. Not everyone loves sitting down and doing tax planning. I totally get that. But honestly, a little bit of attention here can make a noticeable difference in how much money you're actually keeping. Now, even with all of these improvements, all the system upgrades, all the positive changes we've been talking about, December is also a reminder that long term Social Security funding is still a major concern. New projections are showing that the Retirement and Survivor Trust Fund could be depleted by late 2032. That's only about 7 years away. If Congress doesn't act before then, benefits could be automatically cut by about 20% across the board. Now, that doesn't mean Social Security disappears. It doesn't mean the program goes away entirely, but it does mean that the system needs serious changes to stay strong and sustainable. And right now, lawmakers are all over the map on how to fix it. Some favor raising the income cap for Social Security taxes so higher earners pay more into the system. Others want to raise the retirement age gradually over time. Others support adjusting payroll tax rates. And so far, no one has agreed on a final proposal. The political will just hasn't been there yet. But what I'll say is this: December is actually a good time to check in with your own financial plans, just to make sure you feel steady and prepared going into next year. With the COLA coming in, with Medicare costs rising, with tax rules shifting, with all these moving pieces, it's really easy to feel overwhelmed. But taking just a few minutes now to review where you stand can honestly help you feel a lot more in control. So, yeah, December is a month absolutely full of changes and moving parts, but your benefits are still arriving on schedule. The agency has made real improvements to how it operates. Some really harmful planned cuts have been stopped, and next year's COLA is officially locked in. Now, I'm really curious to hear from you. How are you feeling about the future of Social Security as we head into the new year? Do you feel more confident after hearing these updates? Or do you still feel uncertain about where the system is heading long term? Go ahead and share your thoughts in the comments because your voice genuinely helps shape this community, and it helps other people feel supported and less alone in all of this. And if this update helped you stay informed and feel a little more prepared, go ahead and hit that like button so more people can find this information. And make sure you're subscribed with notifications turned on because there are going to be a lot of important changes coming early next year. And I'll be right here helping you make sense of all of them, breaking down every detail so you know exactly what to expect. Thanks so much for spending this time with me today. Take care, stay safe, and I'll see you again real soon.